All right, welcome back in. Believe in the Wolfpack after a mini hiatus, but what are you going to do? Going to get right into it. Recording this just after NC State lost to Syracuse, so can't even really enjoy the big win over Clemson at Clemson, but what are you going to do? That's college basketball. It moves quickly, and, just 3 hours ago, I was feeling much better about the team than I am right now because that loss was horrific. That loss was terrible. Played zero defense. You play even, 50%. You care, minimal effort defensively in the first half. Probably win this game by 5, 6 points. You gave up 55 points in the first half. 26 points to Bell, who was 8 for 8 from three. That dude couldn't miss. He wasn't even shooting the ball. He was just throwing it with his eyes closed behind his back with one arm, and it was falling. That was ridiculous. The miscommunications, looking like there's no chemistry, guys not picking each other up, not really just trying at all in the first half defensively was terrible. But honestly, I kind of want to start with the final possession, the final offensive possession that you could have tied the game. You were down by 2. You're only down by 2. You didn't need a 3. A 3 to win would have been great, but you just needed a 2 to tie the game. Entry pass in, I think it was O'Connell bringing up the ball, and then Horn goes off the off-ball screens on the far side in the corner. And then he has like zero space to work with, dribbling around a bit, trying to create crossover, step back, little half and half, whatever, blah, 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 and just tosses up a shot trying to draw a foul. Why? What are we doing? We're in the double bonus. You don't need to try to foul bait. They already kind of know you can't foul because they're gonna send you to the free throw line. Why are you trying to just toss up a shot? You still had time to pull it back out and reset. Burns really wasn't open in the post. I thought kind of open, but it would have been had to be a quick post move or dish it back out to somebody else. But why is DJ Horn? Why are we trying to just toss up that shot? And it wasn't close. No one was going to get an offensive rebound. If you hit the rim, maybe someone was going to get an offensive rebound. I'm pretty sure Diarra. I know Burns is in the game. I'm pretty sure Diarra was on the near side block where Burns is on the far side, or I guess in relation to Horn, Burns is on the near side. But they were both in the game, so maybe get an offensive rebound if it can hit the rim. But it wasn't even close. So the shot selection was terrible. It was a dumb shot. It was a bad shot. I think DJ Horn will be the first one to tell you that. He had 32 points, shot 50% from the field, but that was a terrible shot. I think, he'll tell you that, like I said. But what's the play call there? What are we doing? Why are we boxing him in to just that side? Why not start? Why not let him just start with it? Get a handoff, work an off-ball screen, and then move to the top of the key or even the wing. Why is he going to the corner? Maybe that's where he's most comfortable. I don't think so, honestly. I think he's the most comfortable where he has space. He had no space in that corner. Even then, even if he was going to drive baseline, Barnes' man could have just sagged off and played help defense, and they could have rotated, which at times Syracuse played great, kind of just rotation and help defense. But Horn had the jump shot going. He was hitting threes, he was in the mid-ranges. Why are we just kind of boxing him in and making him play in the corner on that side? On the baseline, he really only had the baseline to work with. If he was going to try to drive back towards the middle, it really wouldn't have worked out. There's no space over there. So why not let him start at least bare minimum on the wing or just start with the ball? Like, I get it. You may have tried to just get a quick, jump shot, right off of it. Just, boom, flare off the screen, pull up from the pass, and just hit a jumper three, something. But then you give time for Syracuse to answer. So if you're just looking for, which sometimes I think the clock is, you worry about the clock too much in these late game situations as a coach and a player. If you just need a bucket to tie it, to send it into overtime, don't even think about the clock. Just go for the best shot possible with whatever time is left, which I think I could say the same for the offensive possession with about 50 seconds left. When Horn, they got to stop defensively. They were, was it tied? Yeah, it was tied. It was tied. So a bucket, you take the lead again with under a minute. Horn goes off a pick and roll with Was it? I'm pretty sure it was Diarra because DJ Burns wasn't even on the offensive end yet. Why are we hustling? We don't need a 2-for-1. We're not going for a 2-for-1. Their defense was set. They had their 5 back. We only had 4. Just wait. Just wait for Burns to get across and then get into your offense and get the best look possible. Why are we trying to just do this run and gun towards the end of the game when it's tied? Wait for the best shot and then trust your defense. That was miles, light years, measurement that I can't even comprehend levels better in the second half. Only allowed 32 points in the second half compared to 55 in the first. Just to trust your defense. And the only reason that they got the 2-point lead was because of a foul at the end, which, what are you going to do? It was a foul, but you were playing great defense. You were playing phenomenal defense in the second half. It just looked like you wanted to be there more. It looked like you were more just a cohesive unit, like you wanted to play together and play for each other. And then you're just running and you're trying to rush a shot because you just want to get a bucket off, but you're not even set offensively. But still, just get it to Horn at the top of the key on the final possession. Get him at the top of the key on the wing. Get him some space to where you can go off a pick and roll. You have a guy to work with, Diarra or Burns or even Taylor. Who knows? He can at least have more of, head of steam, work downhill towards the bucket from the top of the key or the wing rather than in that corner where if you set a screen for somebody, an on-ball screen for somebody in the corner, I don't know what your plan is there. That's not going to work. You have no space to work with. The ball handler or the man that's going to roll or fade off of it. You have zero space. It's just going to be defended easily. So I don't get that at all, unless it was so specifically designed to just get off a quick shot. Then I kind of see the vision. But it didn't look like that. It looks like you went to the corner so you could let DJ Horn kind of work with it a bit. And even then, Syracuse sniffed it out immediately that you were going to go to that quick shot. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I hated that last play call. I think it was a very good kind of representation of the game tonight where it was just poor execution on all levels. Because there were at times where, even there was DJ Burns got a bucket. I forget if it was a tie of the game or to bring it into 2, but he gets a layup through some contact, doesn't get the call. And Syracuse has to inbound it because we just made a shot. And then flying down the other end was Copeland. I'm already forgetting his name. It was Copeland. Yeah, it was Copeland flying down the other end, and he gets the and one on Burns that resulted in a flagrant. Burns makes the shot, but he's the first one back on defense. He was late on defense, but he made the shot under the bucket, and you're asking him to sprint the entire length of the floor after making the bucket and be the first one back on defense? That's why he committed the foul. I don't really blame him for that. Someone else has got to get back and just establish the defense. It doesn't always have to be Burns. Whenever he makes a shot, you shouldn't be expecting him to just haul back on defense. Someone's got to pick him up there. Someone's got to be like, hey, I got you. Take your time. We'll switch when you get back down here, whatever, because Syracuse is inbounding the ball, so they have to take the extra time. So somebody else should get back, and it was terrible. That just showed me it was just laziness and Keats just not kind of putting the emphasis out there to just get back on defense. Just a lapse in judgment, a lapse in decision making, a lapse overall. It was terrible. And then again, just Bell just on fire from the first half was absurd. Close out on him. Why did it take until the second half to realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't let this guy breathe on the perimeter? He was wide open and just working. He didn't even have to, create it for himself. A lot of them, most of his threes, if not all of them, were just catch and shoot threes. As I'm looking at the box score right now, there was a 3 that he had wide open on the near side corner. Nobody even got a hand up. No one even made an effort. How did it take until the second half to realize, hey, maybe we should stop this guy? And you did. It took halftime adjustments for him not to score again, but was it that hard to say during a timeout, hey, Casey, hey, Jaden, hey, Horn, hey, whoever, stick in front of him the entire time. Don't let him have an inch of separation on the 3-point line. Don't let him get open under any circumstances. Go over on all screens, fight through, communicate. Just everybody key on him. Do not let him score. I guess what was lost in translation was Copeland getting 25 points and 7 rebounds and an assist. And even Mintz, I think he had all 15 points in the second half. I mean, that was just a terrible. I mean, what are we now? 3-6 in the last 9, and even one of them being against Clemson is ridiculous to think about now. But that loss was just horrible. I mean, the second half, you were there. You had plenty of chances. Just the execution was pitiful. I mean, my God, that last play call was awful. The execution, that's on the players. That's on. I mean, it's on Horn and Keats specifically. Horn because I mean, he had 32 points tonight. Sometimes the blame's going to fall on him, but then he's going to get the praise like he did against Clemson with pretty much a game-winning layup. But now he's going to get some criticism for that terrible shot that he had, and Keats is going to get back to his criticism with that's an awful play call. I mean, again, the only thing that I can see as to why that was called and why it could have been a smart call is if Horn took the shot immediately. If he just went straight up and shot the ball. If he just caught it, boom, straight up, jumper, even if it was contested. But I don't think that's what it was. I think it was designed to get him, to just make some space, try to get a shot off himself or something, which was very stupid. Very stupid. Bad game. Bad game. Bad game. Just such a bad loss. Such a bad loss. I mean, we were 75th in the net rankings. So we've been on the outside looking in the entire time. You just picked up a quad 1 win, and then you drop this one, which is this considered a quad 1 win for Syracuse since they were on the road? We were ahead of them in the standings, winning record. It might be, but even then, Syracuse, I mean, what are they now? I mean, pretty much the same as us, or almost better. They're 17-10 overall and 8-8 in conference play, but they have more impressive wins. I mean, they just beat North Carolina, they beat Duke, but I don't know. Next 4 games, the final or 5 games, pardon me. Can I count? Yeah, I can. Final 5 games for the Wolfpack. The first of the final 5 this Saturday, I believe it is, against Boston College, and then at Florida State, at North Carolina, home against Duke, and away at Pitt. Only 2 more home games. Only 2 more. 3 more if you count it tonight, and you kind of blew the first one. Got another chance against Boston College, who you beat in overtime way earlier this year. It was in the year 2023. They beat Boston College, but going to take a short break for a moment. When we come back, going to get into some, women's basketball. Again, they've still been much more positive. Picking up another huge win over Notre Dame and just barely sneaking one out. But still, it's a win over Georgia Tech. And then maybe some final thoughts on this game from the men's team and maybe even where to go from here. Welcome back in. Believe in the Wolfpack. Gonna, real quick, just go over the women's team because they're on a nice little 3-game win streak after the loss to Virginia Tech a few weeks ago. Virginia Tech is now 8th in the country for women's basketball. They've been on a heater. They're first in the ACC, 13-2 conference record, 22-4 overall. They've won some big games. They're on a huge winning streak. Haven't lost since, what was the date on this game against Clemson? Are they going to give that to me, or am I going to have to find it myself? I'm going to have to. January 21st. Have not lost since January 21st. That's a month without a loss. What is it, a 10-game winning streak? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eight, nine, 9-game winning streak. I mean, they lost 2 in a row before that, but they're on a 9-game winning streak with wins over Syracuse, North Carolina, NC State, and Louisville in that span. So, an absolute heater. I mean, good for them, but also relax. Maybe lose a game. God, chill. um, but no, the Wolfpack obviously beat Notre Dame. The final score was 59-43 in that game. Honestly, one of those games that never felt close to begin with. Just felt like we were gonna roll them the entire time, but just barely sneaking out a win over Georgia Tech. I mean, I'll take it. A win is a win. A win is a win, especially at this point of the year. You just got to get all the wins possible. 4 games left for them. You got North Carolina, Duke, number 17, Syracuse, and then Wake Forest for the final game of the year. Ending both games, the last 2 games of the year, both at home. Home against Syracuse and then home against Wake Forest. So that'll be nice. And I think Wake Forest is terrible. Yeah, they're terrible. I kind of put question mark on terrible because I didn't know if they were bad or terrible. If anything, they might be worse than terrible, like complete dumpster fire. Not a single win in conference play. 0-14, and then 4-22 overall. So, did we play them this year? I don't remember playing them yet. No, so the last game of the year will be the first time we face off against the women's Wake Forest team this year. Kind of like a reverse of how college football teams will schedule, like, you know, just the worst team they can find as the very first game of the year and just beat up on them as like a statement game, come out, huge win, and then really get the season going, just get the guys ready. It's kind of the opposite. It's kind of like, all right, let's just destroy Wake Forest right before the conference tournament, get some confidence and, maybe even some rest here and there, but, just regain some confidence, see some shots fall through, and then try to carry this momentum into the tournament, which they could carry a nice little 7-game winning streak. If they beat North Carolina next and beat Duke next, who both are solid in the conference, but nothing amazing. And then Syracuse will be a tough game because they're 17th now and have been great all year. But then if you can win those 3 and then you can just destroy and dismantle Wake Forest, that'll be great. That'll be great. That'll get you. Right now we're third in the ACC standings behind Syracuse. So that Syracuse game is actually even bigger than I thought. Half a game back of Syracuse. Syracuse has a 12-3 conference record. Wolfpack with 11-3 conference record, but a better overall record than the Orange. Wolfpack 23-3, Syracuse 22-4. So what do we say? A little 7-game winning streak into the conference tournament. And then we carry that winning streak through the conference tournament and then through the NCAA tournament. And then boom, next thing you know, champions. Perfect. Great plan. Love it. Awesome. But no, their next game is not until Thursday at North Carolina and then Sunday at Duke. And they actually have, just more time here and there. I guess March is close. My God. Wow. Yeah. February 20th, I'm recording this. Oof. Months just already start flying. But back to the men's team, just because I'm still kind of thinking about this loss. Just such a bad loss. Oh my God. I mean, I didn't have hopes really since the what game was it? I think it was the Virginia game, or maybe I think it was the Syracuse game actually, where they never really had a dog in the fight. I kind of lost all hope for an NCAA tournament bid. The Clemson win kind of brought me back in a little bit. This is just right back to nah, 0 chance. If they go 5-0 the rest of the way, if they go 5-0 the rest of the way in the regular season, no way. If they make a decent amount of noise and a decent run in the ACC tournament, I still don't think so. I just don't think there's any way this team gets in. There's 0. What is it? Clemson is the only quality win and maybe Wake Forest earlier in the year. But that was a home game and you couldn't beat them on the road. I don't know. I don't really know, like, cause even looking down the line into next year, right now it's you got, your top two recruits, Paul McNeil and Tremaine Parker. But are we just gonna have to do this transfer portal thing again? Just rely on that, bring in some seniors, bring in some, fifth year guys, grad year guys. I mean, for the most part, well, most of the starters. I mean, Horn, Burns. I think Taylor might be a junior. Dr. Like most of them are seniors. The rotation and substitutions are constantly changing. I mean, Jaden Taylor came off the bench tonight. He was starting all year. Dennis Parker was starting all year. He has really seen his role diminish. Cam Woods, nothing. MJ Rice, at this point, I don't even remember if he was given a red shirt or not because he played in the first half of the year. He could have been a red shirt. I have no idea if he was or not. So it's like, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen from here. I don't want to get into the whole fire Keats talk because, like, at this point, it just feels repetitive. But I mean, he's not giving you a good argument to keep him. The showing this year isn't really making me think, yeah, maybe, if we just give him more time. Maybe if we just give him, just more money into recruiting. Because we just need to find guys who, and it's so tough with the transfer portal. If someone doesn't start their very first year, then they're going to get upset and they're going to leave and whatever. It's tough to find guys who stay there for 4 years, 3 years now. I mean, Tennessee's done it well. They got Ziegler. He's been there forever, I think. Josiah Jordan James has been there a while. Adu's been there a while. I mean, Connect is obviously new, but when you have 3 guys that already have great chemistry together, if you just plug in one more and he's already that skilled and that talented, it's not that difficult in the end. But I mean, it's just year after year of just new lineup, and you gotta, find new chemistry and go through entirely new, schemes and tonight it looked like a night where it's just there was zero chemistry and zero effort, especially in the first half. Again, I don't want to keep harping on it, but like my God, that first half was just painful. It was painful to watch. It was brutal. It was terrible. It just looked like guys just didn't care. Just bad turnovers, just not thinking straight, not helping on defense. Just help on defense. Just slide, just rotate. Don't leave a guy who's 6 for 6 from 3 wide open because then he's going to be 7 for 7. And then he's going to be 8 for 8. And then he's going to miss one and the entire gym is going to give you a sarcastic cheer, which actually happened. it's never a good feeling, but it's always a little bit funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm just even more down in the dumps and I have even less hope just because of the loss, but it's tough to have hope. It's a bad game. A bad game. We got to figure something out. I mean, win the next 5. Not even the next 5. You just got to beat Boston College. You got to beat Florida State. You can't lose to Boston College, Florida State, and Pitt. You especially can't lose to Pitt again. Last regular season game of the year. And then if you can beat one of North Carolina and Duke, there is that stat, which is, I mean, at one point it was unranked teams against teams in the AP top 10. When the AP top 10 teams are at home, the unranked teams are like 34 and 32. It was something like that at one point. Maybe you take down one of North Carolina and Duke. You're at North Carolina. So maybe that's where that statistic comes in because they're 10th right now. They're on the bubble of the top 10, but they're 10th. And maybe by the time the game is played, it'll be, I think, 2 new AP rankings from now. So maybe they'll be even higher. Who knows? But maybe you win one of those games, then you go on a heater in the ACC tournament. But this team has shown me nothing all year that makes me think that. It makes me truly believe that. So watching it tonight during the run, right around the 10, 11-minute mark in the second half, thinking, hey, here's that run. We're down by 15, down by 10, down by 6, down by 4. Boom, it's tied. Boom, first lead since 2-0. And then you're just waiting for the flame out. You're just waiting for them to, start playing sloppy again. Bad defense, foul a guy. I mean, although Syracuse was making some incredible shots at times, but it's the same story of down big, make a run, can't keep the run, can't play consistent, flame out, game over, another loss. Tough time. Tough times. Tough times. Although it's almost March, anything can happen in March. Anything can happen in March. The door is open. Let's put it that way. Statistically, we are not out of the tournament. The door is open. Even if we're just wedging just a pinky toe in there, just getting the foot in there. It's open. We're going to keep it open for now, even though there is zero hope. But what are you going to do? Thank you for joining me on another episode of Believe in the Wolfpack, and we'll see you next time.